I quickly want to go through the Carson v. Carson situation and talk about Hocevar's. I didn't see no video personally. I'm gonna take Carson Ware's judgment or his opinion on this one, I should say. I'm gonna take his opinion on this one because I don't see him lying about all that stuff. So I'm just gonna believe what he said when it came to this exact situation. And from what it sounds like to me, is that Carson Ware wasn't trying to get into a wreck. He was trying to play it safe. He was trying to maybe lag back at the end of the race, something we saw with Kyle Busch at the end of the 500 on the last lap. He just backed it down because he didn't want to be involved in a wreck. And it sounds like that's something that Carson Ware was kind of trying to do at the very end of this race, but he had Carson Hocevar on his bumper, and Hocevar got irritated that he slowed him up and cost him a couple positions. So apparently, after the checkered flag, Carson Hocevar flipped him off, which I don't care about. It sounded like Carson Ware didn't really care about getting flipped off either. I personally don't care about that. I don't mind that. It's going to happen. We see it. If you're paying attention, it happens a couple of times every race. Somebody's sticking a middle finger out the window at somebody. But this is where I had the problem with, and this is where Carson Ware got so pissed at him and got up in his face on pit road. I didn't think he was. I didn't think either of them were ever going to throw a punch in that situation. But kind of like an EA Sports NASCAR career mode sort of argument right there. Them just ranting back and forth. Hocevar took no accountability if this is exactly what happened. Hocevar took zero accountability and also pretended like he didn't know what had happened. Maybe Carson Ware got Hocevar confused with another car potentially. I guess I'll hold that as a potential, but like I said, I'm gonna believe Carson Ware in this situation. But after the checkered flag, after he flipped him off, apparently Hocevar doored him after the checkered flag, damaging Carson Ware's vehicle, which that's not cool, man. That's not cool. I could see it maybe if Carson Ware had put Hocevar in the wall or maybe spun him out on the last lap or something like that. I can see that perspective on why Hocevar would then door him after the checkered flag. But just because he was trying to stay out of the wreck and not damage his car after the checkered flag, you're gonna damage his car. I'm not for that. I don't like that. If that's what Hocevar ended up doing, I respect Carson Ware for standing on business, which is probably the first time I've ever said I respect Carson Ware. Uh, but Carson Ware seems very serious about this. He also really he stood on business for his team. He didn't want his team to do all those repairs and have to put more money into the car. They're not a highly funded race team. Hocevar brings in a lot of sponsorship, and I think that's what he was trying to argue to Hocevar in that scenario. Is like, you don't do that. You're not hurting me. You're hurting my team. And I think that's what Carson Ware was trying to tell Hocevar. But Hocevar took zero accountability and acted like it didn't even happen, which is the only reason why I hold on to a small percentage chance that maybe Carson Ware had the 42 confused with a different car on the grid. But nonetheless, if that is what Hocevar did, it's kind of a dickhead move, if you ask me. But let me know your thoughts on Carson v. Carson.